All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another Launch Minnesota Friday Forum, our very last one of 2023. And I am very excited to be highlighting the small business development centers this morning. Small business development centers, I mean, in my capacity as a Launch Minnesota program specialist, I get entrepreneurs reaching out to me constantly asking for resources and funding and just general mentorship. And the first thing I always ask them is, have you contacted your local SBDC? And if they say no, I say that's absolutely the first thing that you need to do, because they have so many wonderful resources and have helped so many great small businesses in Minnesota. So I am going to hand it over to Andy Donahue, and he is going to share a little bit about SBDC.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Thanks for joining us on this Friday. I'm actually in northern Minnesota right now, and we've been joking around right before this call and seeing if we have any snow yet, and we do not. So just for the record, no snow yet here in the northern part of the state, but we know unfortunately it's coming soon. So again, happy Friday, and thanks for joining us this morning. I want to cover a little bit about our Minnesota SBDC program, our Small Business Development Centers. As Maddie mentioned, my name is Andy Donahue. I'm the state director for the Minnesota SBDC program. I have been in this role for about the last 5.5 months. Came from that other side of the border of Wisconsin, where I was a center director for about 8 years. So happy to be back in my home state, where I've grown up and have my residence as well. So happy to be here, talk a little bit about our SBDC program, share some highlights of 2023, then also turn it over to two of my colleagues that are regional directors, Katie Hepner and Mike Hahn, to talk about a little bit of their specialty programs that they've been running in their regions and how we really help and build that entrepreneurship ecosystem. So hopefully everything from a technology thing works. We are part of the Office of Small Business and Innovation at the Department of Employment and Economic Development. And I know Maddie and Neela have talked about this probably quite a few times, but under the Office of Small Business and Innovation, we have 4 different organizations, obviously Launch Minnesota, which is hosting this call, but also the Small Business Assistance Office, Community Partnerships, and our Small Business Development Center. So in 2022 alone, between our 9 regional centers, we helped 152 new businesses start, $135 million in capital between lending, CDFI work, investments, owner's equity, helping entrepreneurs get funding for their projects and expansions of their business, creating or saving, retaining 4,500 plus jobs, and then also helping grow revenues of those organizations by over $230 million annually. So we do a lot of work, statewide. It's not just, helping startups. We help obviously businesses in that second stage that are looking to expand, looking for those businesses that are looking to possibly sell in the future and match them up with different individuals that are looking to buy. So we really help from that startup phase all the way through that end of business life cycle. So it is that whole entrepreneurship life cycle and ecosystem that we are involved in through the SBDC. As I mentioned, we have 9 regional centers statewide. We cover every inch and county of the state. We have clients that we serve in all 87 counties, all the way from the Northwest region down to the Southeast. Our state office staff, there's 3 of us. There's myself as the state director, Lyle Wright, who is our associate state director, and then Julie Corcoran, who's our statewide coordinator for programming. And then with that, we have 9 regional centers, as you can see on the map to the left, that has also 9 regional centers, but also 30 satellite locations throughout the state. And then plus with that, we have 125 business consultants statewide that are willing to help not only your clients through launch, but also clients statewide in that entrepreneurship ecosystem to help them at any stage or any project of their life cycle. So when I came into this role about 5.5 months ago, we have 3 key strategic priorities that we're really focused on. Number 1 is being relevant. So we're making sure that our work with the SBDC meets our customer, so the entrepreneurs that we work with, and also our stakeholder needs. We have great partnerships throughout the whole state, ranging from lenders, CDFIs, always economic developers, chamber of commerce, inventors, and other entrepreneurs, throughout the whole state. So we want to make sure that we are relevant in the work that we do, and we can meet those expectations that you all have as our partners in the SBDC. We also want to make sure that we are viable, making sure that we have a strong fiscal and talent resources that are managed responsibly, and making sure that we do have the ability to meet your needs and be adaptable to those ever-changing environments. We're in an environment right now that things change, on a daily basis sometimes. So as we've learned over the last few years during COVID and even post-COVID, making sure that we are adaptable and able to meet the needs of our entrepreneurs, whether it's remote, whether it's in person, in a hybrid environment, whatever it might be, but also that we're effective in the work that we're doing. Obviously, we want to make sure that we're helping our clients start their business. We also want to be that partner with them to expand their business in the future, help them acquire that capital, but also obtain beneficial information that's going to help them succeed in their everyday business life cycle. So from 2023, we've had a few different things that we've been working on. I know one of the things that are statewide, that's a common, occurrence and common thing that I think a lot of entrepreneurs, economic developers are working on is childcare. So working to make sure we're meeting the needs from the workforce perspective, have access to childcare statewide, serving our rural communities. We have the Twin Cities metro area, obviously, and then we have a few growing communities, outstate. But there are also the communities statewide that are in the ruralest part of the state. So making sure that we are meeting the expectations statewide, making sure that we do have the ability to meet clients and have individuals, consultants to work with those individuals that are in the ruralest parts of Minnesota. We want to build generational wealth in different communities, especially in the marginalized communities, help them grow their business, figure out ways and how they can build that wealth, internally, but also through their business expansion plans. Empower those emerging entrepreneurs that are looking to grow and scale, but then also provide that equitable access across the whole state. We see a lot of excellent opportunities, through our SBDC program to meet entrepreneurs and really figure out what works for them. So we want to make sure that we have the ability to provide that equitable access for any entrepreneur that we do work with throughout the state. So in 2024 coming up, we have really 5 key pillars that are probably going to be really relevant in the work that we do starting in 24. Again, making sure that we have access to all the resources that are available through the SBDC. So anybody within the state has access to one of our SBDC regional offices, satellite offices, or consultants to really help them through those business needs that they're looking at. Being accountable, making sure that we're acting responsibly in using the productive and efficient use of our resources, just like any other operation, making sure that our talent is there and making sure that we're using those resources properly, throughout the whole state. We really are collaborative partners. We want to be working with a variety of different resource partners out there, especially you as Launch Minnesota partners, making sure that we do have the ability to work with you, throughout any project that you're working on, any entrepreneur that's looking at starting, scaling, expanding their business. And if we don't have the answer, we're going to find that answer for them, through the work that we do have through some of our collaboration efforts. And one of the big topics, obviously, over the last few years is diversity, making sure that we do recognize that and respond to the needs of our clients and stakeholders. We have some great regional teams that have a lot of different diverse backgrounds, diverse skills, but they also want to make sure that we're meeting those communities as well to understand what their needs are and also have the ability to help them succeed throughout their life cycle. But then also innovate. I know innovation is one of those things that's one of those keywords, over the last couple of years, especially with Launch Minnesota and the SBDC. But we want to look at finding visionary ways to improve services to help our clients grow. It just as you all do as well. So a little map of where our SBDC offices are with the Launch Minnesota regional partners. These are our 9 regional centers. I did not put the 30 satellite locations on there, but you'll be able to get a good visual of where our regional offices are throughout the 6 Launch Minnesota partners. So we do have them covered throughout the whole state. Our Fast Lane 94 partners have 3 different regional offices that they get to partner with. So that is a benefit to you all. So you get see a different variety of our regional centers. But we are certainly partners in all of your success. We want to make sure that, no matter what we're doing from an SBDC perspective, we're able to partner with you as Launch Minnesota regional partners as well and really help develop and build that ecosystem throughout the state of Minnesota. So I'm going to turn it over to Katie Hepner, who is our regional director of our North Central SBDC in Brainerd. So Katie, I'll let you take over.
Perfect. Good morning, everyone. Happy to be joining you all from a chilly Brainerd on a Friday. I am Katie Hepner. I started in this position in January. So the only person who I have seniority on is Andy. I don't know how that works out. But before that, I was the director of the Economic Development Corporation that serves Wadena County for 5 years. And before that, in local government. So my background is in community building and that economic development ecosystem space. So I have such respect for what Launch Minnesota is trying to achieve here. So the first thing I want to dive into, and Andy is controlling my slides, so perfect, is understanding rural. Here at the North Central region, I fully believe that rural is our superpower. We serve 11 counties and 2 sovereign nations in the mid-northern band of Minnesota. So if you think of Wadena County to the west, all the way to Taylor's Falls and Chisago County, God's country, as I like to call it. We also proudly serve the Mille Lacs and Leech Lake bands of Ojibwe. We currently have 17 consultants on staff, all of which are rural specialists. But when you think about meeting with a business consultant, that can seem really vague. Like the terms technical assistance, even one-on-one coaching, what does that mean? What are you diving into? So here are some of the areas that our rural specialists provide. 1, startup assistance. I always say that all you need to work with us is an idea. We can help you take it from there. So going, fleshing out that business plan, putting together the financial projections, really diving in and doing that, nitty gritty work. We're here to help with that. Marketing guidance. I think marketing is one of the most challenging things because you can go to a training and a seminar in 2023 and learn all the best practices to reach your customers. And then 5 years later, it's suddenly all changed. So it's one of those topics that you have to stay up to date on and really battle against. So we have marketing specialists who can help with that. Financial advising, loan packaging, financial projections. We find a number of our consultants love what their business does. They have a real passion for making something, growing something, doing something, and then tracking the money that's involved in that. That's where the trickiness comes in. So we can help guide through that. Sales coaching. I think a number of us are Minnesota nice. We're used to providing our services or our goods to our neighbors and just, hey, we like to do it. Viewing ourselves as salespeople, as people who need profit and revenue to move forward. We can help guide through a sales strategy and look at your price point and make sure you're getting the value for the hard work and quality of the products you provide. Operations consulting. So we aren't just for startups. I think that's one of the common misconceptions of the SBDC is, oh, that's just for people who are just starting out. No. We work with a number of businesses who have been around for 20, 30, 40 years. And sometimes you need someone to come in, that outside set of eyes, and think, is everything running as efficiently as it could be? Where are some areas I could grow? Where should I cut back? Just having that trusted advisor, outside set of eyes who can help look at your operation. Strategic planning. It's always a big ongoing need, whether you're just starting out or have been in business for 40 years. And then we have started using the term legacy planning because exit planning, transition planning all sound really scary and sound like, oh, something bad's going to happen to me and I might have to leave my business. We like to look at what legacy are you building as a founder, as a business owner, and helping you think either should something good really happen, how are you going to leave your business? Or if something unfortunate should happen, is your business secure? Are your employees going to be able to show up for work the next day? Talking through that legacy with you. So those are our major consulting areas. Looking at our 5-year scorecard, a couple of highlights I want to throw out there. We've secured over $121 million in capital funding. We've worked with over 2,700 unique clients. and we've provided 15,000 hours of consulting services. So when we talk about one-on-one consulting and diving deep and developing that strong relationship, we mean it. We're not, we're not going to have 1 hour long meeting with you and then ghost you, as the kids would say. We're in it for the long haul for you and your business. A couple of other things I want to highlight before I move on to our tribal economy work. We have started offering a series of on-demand video trainings. When I'm done with my spiel, I'll make sure to put the link in our chat. Our first one just dropped last month. It's called Dollars and Cents, Understanding Financial Statements. The reason we're starting to incorporate on-demand trainings is because entrepreneurs are very busy people. You guys, if you're still working full-time, or even if you're not, you have very limited capacity, and we understand that. So we want to have tools that are out there that you can view on your own time, even if that's midnight after the kids have gone to bed and you just have a half hour to learn something quick. We want to be able to meet you where you're at and fill that need. And we'll hopefully be building out our on-demand suite more this year. And then we also offer in-person trainings and virtual trainings as well on a variety of topics. Andy mentioned earlier, the commitment to diversity that the SBDC has. And that is something we take very seriously here in the North Central region. One of my key initiatives, goals is supporting the tribal economy. And one of the main ways we do that is through the Enterprise Academy. This started in 2020 and is a partnership between Mille Lacs Corporate Ventures, Initiative Foundation, and us. It consists of a 12-week training program, now all in person. In 2020, it was not all in person, let me tell you. And then followed up by 1 year of one-on-one consulting. Our 6th cohort just kicked off. We've had 46 graduates go through the Mille Lacs Enterprise Academy. And now we have 8 more who are just embarking. When we had our kickoff a few weeks ago, I just want to share what a wonderful experience that is. The Mille Lacs band was generous enough to host a dish setting ceremony. And so we were able to offer up tobacco and learn more about their heritage and their culture and set intentions from the get-go. And that incorporating those cultural elements into our trainings and into our programs is so important and just enhances that work. We're not here to come in as outsiders from Brainerd or outside the community and tell people how it is. We want to uplift, enhance, and amplify those Anishinaabe voices. Another way that we are trying to, amplify those voices is on November 2nd, we are sponsoring Adrienne Benjamin to come and speak here at Central Lakes College. She'll be giving a presentation on entrepreneurship and cultural appropriation. If you're not familiar with Adrienne's work, a few years ago, she very publicly and proudly challenged Minnetonka moccasins who did not have any native designers on staff and had real conversations with them about cultural appropriation and that social responsibility of company. And they listened, which is amazing. And they brought her on board, and now they have a couple different native made items. If you go on the Minnetonka website, you can search by native made, and some of Adrienne's designs will come up, and a portion of those proceeds go to different nonprofits. And we're so proud that Adrienne comes from the Mille Lacs band, which is in our region. So we're excited to hear from her and amplify that voice. I'll also throw a link in the chat to the Minnetonka story, because I think that that's so important. All right, lastly, future builders supporting Central Lakes College students. So we are so happy that we are hosted by CLC. Their mission is we build futures. And I think we all know the 2 proven ways to build generational wealth and escape poverty are education and entrepreneurship. Those two go hand in hand. So having a host that fully understands that and is ready to build futures and shares our core work and mission is just so special. A couple different ways we work specifically with students here. We frequently go and speak to classes, not just to the business classes. And next week, I'm talking about side hustles with our heavy equipment students, giving students access to those entrepreneur tools and resources, no matter what they're studying. We do work one-on-one with business students. In their capstone class, they have to develop a business plan. And I'm the consultant lucky enough to hear these dreams and work with the students to see what that looks like. We also offer all of our trainings that are public. We offer them at no cost to CLC students and alumni. We call that our Raider family discount because we wouldn't be here without CLC, and we just want to show our support to our great hosts. Once a month, we offer a lunch and learn called Biz Bites in the Fireside Lounge here on campus. And that is just a casual guided conversation on a variety of business topics. Last month, we talked about building your brand, and we had a former SBDC client come in who's also a CLC grad, who's now a marketing specialist and runs an international marketing firm based out of Brainerd. And so giving students access to talk to Aaron and hear from his experience in a casual setting. We're also exploring developing a micro pathway where clients can be eligible to receive credit when they reach milestones with the SBDC. So when they start their business or get capital funding, that will be, they'll be eligible to apply to receive credit for prior learning and then not have to take one of our business classes should they ever come here to CLC. We recognize the value of receiving that SBDC consultation. And we're also, in all this work, we really are trying to target our historically underserved students and really be that on campus, in the classroom resource for them. All right, that might have been more than 10 minutes, Andy, but thank you so much for inviting me to speak with you all today. I'll throw a couple of things that I mentioned in the chat, and I believe I'm kicking it over to my colleague, Mike Hahn from Minnesota State Mankato. Go Mavs!
Thanks, Katie. And Katie is a proud MSUM, Minnesota State University Mankato graduate. So thanks for that. Andy, you have my slides, I believe, or do you want me to kick it up on my own?
I have yours. I'll just
All right.
flow right into it.
All right, that'd be great. We are hosted at Minnesota State University Mankato. One thing I like about my background is I'm not a native Minnesotan, but I consider myself a native Minnesotan. So please forgive me. I grew up on the northern tier counties of Iowa, but I spent a lot of time in Pine Island, which is just outside Rochester. My uncle owned the local tavern on Main Street there. I spent a lot of time there as well, not drinking, but that was very back in the day as far as they also operated a family farm operation there too. So I'm probably the only one in here that's been through all the Minnesota professional teams, going through the heartbreak that they've had through the years. I've been to football games at US Bank Stadium, the Metrodome, and Metropolitan Stadium, the current day Mall of America. So I've been here a long time as far as taking on those Minnesota professional sports teams. This past month in September, we were able to host what's called the Knowledge Enhancement or Knowledge Exchange Program for the Minnesota SBDC that was held here in Mankato. And this is basically a good number of the team from throughout the state of Minnesota. I just wanted to share that with you. And we are all connected as a state team, but we also function on our regions, as Andy indicated a little bit earlier. So Andy, I'll have you go to the next slide. As Katie mentioned, we have the ability to hire contractors. At my facility here in Mankato, we have 2 staff persons, which include myself and Molly Byron, who's our program manager. And then underneath that, we have 14 contractors, and each of these contractors have what I call a specialized discipline in a certain area of business. So we have contractors that are involved in restaurant management. We have others that are involved in just basically marketing, intellectual property, even cybersecurity. So we have different types of consultants that can assist clients on basic needs that they need within their business. Now, Andy added earlier about how a lot of people might have this misconception that SBDCs serve just startup businesses. We were able to run our federal numbers for the federal fiscal year from October 1st of 2022 to September 30th of 2023. We did serve 400 clients, but 60% of those clients were existing businesses. About 35 of those were what I would call people who are considering or who are starting a business venture. And then 5% of those are basically what I would say that are nonprofit organizations that we have the ability to work with as well. So as far as that 60%, as far as new businesses, they might need what I call a tune-up. They might need to look at a new type of product, a new type of service that they want to enact to meet market needs. They might have some employee issues. They might have some, as far as accounting, basically updates for such things like QuickBooks, that they might need some assistance there as well. On the new business side of things, we're seeing kind of a lot of micropreneurs, and these are people who are starting side gigs that are, looking at starting from home. Sometimes they are migrating to basically a local farmer's market or a local community market, and then hopefully then get into some type of a brick and mortar type store. So we help them as far as getting their business to that next level. A lot of people are going the micropreneur route because they're keeping that day job to bridge that healthcare, and they're really kind of building that business to make sure that they can make the migration basically from their day job into a full-time venture. And then I would say the remaining folks that we have involved as far as clients is daycare. Daycare is childcare is a huge issue as far as within our state. We do have a consultant that just specializes in the daycare operations. But this milestones on the left kind of shows you as far as from the regional center. We serve the 9-county South Central region of Minnesota. So that kind of gives you an idea as far as what our breakdown is of the total numbers that Andy shared with you earlier. So when I talk about the South Central region, there's 3 things that I'm kind of keying in on. It's the old-fashioned one-on-one consulting, which we had earlier. The next thing that we key on is behind the success. And this is a quarterly networking event. It's a moderated business discussion to kind of celebrate entrepreneurship, and also to have what I call mega entrepreneurs, the real successful entrepreneurs from our region, from our state, to tell their story and do it in a format that is educational and is comfortable for people to ask questions as well. So this is one of our mega entrepreneurs from the state, Chris Lindell, who is a MSU Mankato grad as well. And we work with our alumni association. We have other partners like Connect Business Magazine and Pioneer Bank that work with us in hosting this quarterly event. This is a way that we can kind of get new entrepreneurs, existing entrepreneurs, and also those very successful entrepreneurs together to just kind of meet and discuss business. There's a lot of sidebar conversations. What we do is we kind of open it up as far as with the event. And then afterwards, we just let people kind of organically, naturally network from that perspective. I'm going to have you go on to the next slide, Andy. Next thing that we do here in the South Central region, which we just introduced this year, we've been prototyping this through different programs over the past 2 years, is Fast Track. And this is an entrepreneurship development system that is basically it's a Kauffman Foundation product. And what it is, it's targeted for adult entrepreneurs. So it's targeted for entrepreneurs who are either thinking about starting a small business, or maybe they have a small business on the side and they're looking at growing the business. And this is a great curriculum as far as use. The annual affiliate rate to be a part of Fast Track is $350. That's all we pay to the Kauffman Center. We have to guarantee them that we'll have 20 people annually involved as participants and graduates of the program. And then what we do is we charge people who are part of the program $200 to $500 per session. Our rate's $200. They have the suggested retail price and be in that $200 to $500 range. We tested this in Waseca. We had basically 12 businesses that were involved with it, or 12 concepts. We were able to launch basically 7 businesses out of that. Out of that 7, we have one that have closed, but at least they were able to launch the concept. And they did it as kind of a prerequisite to a local program through their Economic Development Corporation in Waseca to provide a $30,000 grant as part of a pitch competition. At that time, Fast Track was using the old-fashioned 3-ring binder. They have since migrated to a learning management system on Canvas so that everything can be on-site, online, or hybrid. What we learned through kind of working through our region is that in talking with some of the mega entrepreneurs and some of the folks that were involved in, like the Taylor brands that are involved in such thing as venture capital and angel investments, that they felt, these entrepreneurs, existing entrepreneurs, that we had the resources available in our region. And then what they would want us to do is produce entrepreneurs who are basically pitch ready and plan ready. So that's what we're doing. Right now we have our first Fast Track class, which is going on as we speak. They're in the middle of their sessions right now. And we will have approximately 10 or 12 that will be graduating concepts. And then what we're doing is hosting a Connect Tank through Connect Business Magazine, since they're a sponsor, and that will be on September 5th. And basically what we've done is we hired a videographer. They're going to take each of these 10 to 12 businesses. They're going to work with them to kind of create their pitch over, and then record it. And then the entrepreneur will be able to present that pitch on December 5th. And from there, we will have local angels. We will have local financiers like banks. We will also have gap financiers like the Southern Minnesota Initiative Foundation and Region 9 to be a part of this. And it's an invitation-only event, but to provide input and also to organically provide those relationships between the graduates and also those potential funders as well. And this is something that we're testing in our area. We hope to expand next year. One thing that's really great about the Fast Track product is that there's a Spanish version. We are going to be bringing on a Spanish, fluent Spanish-speaking business consultant in 2024. And we want to do Fast Track in Spanish in our Western region, especially in St. James, where there's a high level of Hispanic population, and so that we can get businesses going. And then also we will repeat Connect Tank there as well. So those are the 3 things from the SBDC standpoint: our traditional face-to-face consulting, our behind the success series that we do quarterly, and then Fast Track, which we hope to do with Connect Tank on a twice annual basis. That's our plan. One of the things that's pretty cool as far as being affiliated with a university and being hosted by the university is that we have other departments that can work with us in leveraging particular type of grants. This past year, as part of the post-COVID recovery Act, the CARES Act, SBA had what was called the Community Navigators Program. And our institution here at Minnesota State Mankato was able to be awarded a grant for that. Our focus was on Main Street businesses, focused on food and agriculture, to provide technical assistance basically for that food and ag region, which is very important for our area. And of course, the priority was placed on distressed or underserved businesses from our region. And this is Vic Berharji, who is he's a immigrant of India and basically involved in different international businesses. And he's opening up Crumble Cookie as part of the MBFFA program. And basically that opens up November 2nd here in Mankato. So we're looking forward to trying some crumble cookies here in Mankato. But he spoke at a regional economic development event, was very, very, very just thankful of the services that he received from the MBFFA program and the SBDC program. I also like to put in a plug for us from the standpoint that we are not located on campus. We are actually located in downtown Mankato. So we have, you don't have to go through the ivory tower and the parking problems that you would have on a university campus. We are available with plenty of parking next door to us. And also, I like to put a plug in for the Department of Employment and Economic Development because they have been great supporters of our SBDC program through their small business partnership program. So we are all anxiously awaiting the answer of our grant, right, Katie? One other thing I will wrap up with, we have a very robust and once I say robust, I mean that we were able to use our partnership grants to do some improvements to our website. One of the improvements that we have done, and I'll put in our website, which is myminnesotabusiness.com, is a series of podcasts. And the podcasts are really recent. It will tell you, you'll hear an attorney talk about from Minnesota that will talk about the different ways of forming a business. We also have accountants. We also have HR people that are involved. Diversity is big in our area as well. We have a person that talks about diversity businesses and the assistance that they can get through the programs. And I'll put that into the chat. It's www.myminnesotabusiness.com and just look for the podcast link. That's all I have, Andy.
Perfect. Thank you both, Mike and Katie. And apologies if I dropped off there. It never fails that you have a Zoom update in the middle of a webinar that won't let you close out. So two things I just want to add real quick that I didn't mention before. All of our consulting that we do statewide is at no cost. Because we're part of the Small Business Administration federally, we have a mandate that we do offer the consulting at no cost to any entrepreneur, whether it's in that tire kicking beginner stage all the way through exit planning and succession or legacy planning, as Katie mentioned as well. So it will be no cost consulting for anybody. The only cost that could be available is if they do take a training class or some sort of programming in the future. But our general business consulting, whether it is individually, small group, or for organizations, is at no cost. You also can find any information about our SBDCs at mnsbdc.com. That is our state website. And it has different links to the regional centers itself. And I'm proud of the work that, we do statewide. I've only been here in this role for about 5.5 months coming from Wisconsin, but the team that we have statewide is remarkable. The one thing I noticed right away when I first met all of them is the passion that they have for entrepreneurs and how much they want to see their communities thrive, see the local entrepreneurs be successful, and really help build that ecosystem. So with that, I think we're going to open it up to questions. If anybody has questions for the SBDC or Maddie, if you have any other closing remarks that you'd like to add.
No, let's take some questions from the audience. I'll start out with a question while everybody else is thinking, perhaps. Do any of you have, I know the range of resources offered by SBDC is pretty wide. Is there an underutilized resource you think in your specific center or statewide that maybe you wish more people knew about?
I could answer that. And I think one of the things that we never get, and when we don't promote this enough, is that we talk people out of a lot of bad ideas. And I think that's underserved, or it's not counted from us. But believe me, we've had some people come in here and say, wow, I'm really happy that you talked me out of that. And in some cases, it turns into another business concept or business idea, and which is good. But we have talked a lot of people out of some bad ideas, which would have been they would have they would have blown their life savings in situations like that.
For sure. Oh, that's funny. I like that.
I once told a client when I was running my center in Wisconsin that I felt that I was a dream killer, because sometimes we have to be, the bad guy a little bit, because if business ideas don't make sense from a financial standpoint, the last thing you want to do is be always that yes person and say, yep, this is a great idea, when they really need to go back to that drawing board or really look at their roadmap, whether their business plan, business model canvas, and really figure out some of the different strategies that they might have to be successful. Doesn't mean that anybody from the SBDC does not want the idea to happen. It's just making sure that it is done effectively so they can do the best of their ability to grow their business.
I think that sometimes people can be a little, I don't know if intimidated is the right word, but just not confident enough in themselves or their idea to, reach out to a consultant. They might think that they need to be like 3 steps ahead, or they might not want to, show how little they know about QuickBooks, or, just might be a little bit shy in some areas. But SBDC consultants are not here to give you a grade on your business and, either say you are a good entrepreneur or a bad entrepreneur. We're here to help. So I think the only way we can be underutilized is if people self-eliminate before coming to see us.
Cool. Thanks, everyone.
Maddie, this is Mark Thine in the southeast corner of the state with the SBDC system. And I'd have to say, small business owners, we continue to try and educate them on cybersecurity. We've spent a lot of time and effort training all the centers and getting those consultants on board. So it's a constant, this is very important, and please contact us so we can put you together with a consultant and at least get those basics for your small business, which I think is critical, and even more critical now with all the scamming and things going on.
Yeah, for sure.
And that is something that we are working on diligently with our team. We're going to have a team of experts starting in 2024 that will be able to be certified in cybersecurity. So they will be able to help our small businesses statewide from every inch of the state, all over, to be cyber ready and just to be prevalent on what might be happening in that industry, because we do see a lot of cyber issues, with the businesses that we do serve.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Okay, cool. I'll open it back up to the audience. Anyone here have a question for our wonderful assembled SBDC consultants?
It's Friday. Don't be shy.
You did such a good job sharing about all your services. There's just no questions.
It's just so thorough. The presentation is too good. Oh, sorry.
This is Candy, and I live in the Shakopee area. I guess I'm a little curious. It says my local one is Minneapolis, but then growing up in rural Minnesota, I kind of like the rural touch. And so I'm curious about, since most of you presented from greater Minnesota, how do your services differ or vary from the ones in Minneapolis? And how do you know, as somebody that lives kind of in the middle, which one you should pursue?
Yeah, I would say, I'm sorry, go ahead.
You go ahead, Andy.
No, okay. I would say, the nice thing about all of our SBDC regional offices and teams, we do work very closely together. So if there is a certain expertise that you're looking at, even though, let's just say, if you are in Shakopee, where your closest one would be part of our Twin Cities SBDC at St. Thomas University, we can certainly match you up with another consultant that might be a different expertise. So if there is something specific you're looking at, we can certainly take a look at that as well. But usually it's wherever your closest SBDC location is. However, we are looking at adding a little bit of other satellite offices in the metro area in the future. So there might be one that comes closer to you here in the hopefully near future. But we certainly can, whatever your expertise you're looking for, we can find somebody that can match that.
That would be awesome. And then if or when they open one closer, do you communicate out with us, or is there a listserv to get on? Or is that?
Sure, we can certainly get you added to one of our mailing lists. That is not a problem at all. So if you want to either email me, I'll put my email in the chat, and we can certainly get that added.
Just to add to that, Candy, I know that you're based in Shakopee, and I know that through my host institution, Minnesota State Mankato, they have an outreach center or for education in Edina, and there's also a 169 corridor, and we work a lot with. In fact, I'm meeting with city representatives along with the university representatives from Shakopee here on November 14th, and Andy, I will keep you abreast of that, because I know that they are doing some fabulous things in Shakopee, and there's some entrepreneurs there that are just dynamite, and they're looking at even a certain type of entrepreneur center there in Shakopee as well.
Can I ask a question? Sorry. I'm actually in the New Prague area. So Candy, I'm close to where you are. And I'm just curious what the difference is between, I'm a new entrepreneur. I opened my business at the beginning of the year. I'm just wondering what's the difference between like your centers versus like Scott County, I know has a center for entrepreneurship, and I did like their fast track program. And we won a bunch of resources through that because we got second place. And I'm just curious, like, do you guys work together? Is it separate? Is it, I'm just curious.
Andy?
I can take this one if you'd like.
Sure, Mila.
Yes. Hi, congratulations about winning the competition. That's a great achievement. So what we do at the state is we try to serve our entrepreneurs and small businesses in numerous ways. I know it's a lonely journey, but we really are trying to help meet your needs in a variety of ways. So when we look at technical assistance and business consulting, we're very fortunate at the state to have the SBDC offices. As you can tell here by just a sampling of some of our leadership, it's just an amazing group of people who care deeply about helping businesses. We also, as a state, have grant dollars that go out to nonprofits and other organizations that provide business assistance, consulting, technical assistance. That was just mentioned, our small business partnership grants that at some SBDC offices also apply for. And so we have business incubators, accelerators, other county, city efforts that do sometimes apply for those based on some of their work that they do. So we need a rich ecosystem. And so that's what we are also trying to foster, that there's, we are fitting the needs of our entrepreneurs from an idea stage to an investment stage, and making sure that we have the right subject matter expertise and the right resources that you need to be successful. So through our Office of Small Business and Innovation, there are a variety of programs that are being implemented to better serve you. That's a long way to answer your question, but just wanted to show some of the ways that we fund efforts to support small businesses and startups.
A lot of our counties partner with the SBDC on some consulting work or different programming that may be offered. I know from one of the, we might have 9 regional centers, but we also have a variety of satellite centers and partners statewide that would partner with the SBDC. So a lot of the work, it might not directly, you might be working with Scott County, but they might be, partially an SBDC consultant as well. So it might be a lot of crossover synergy work that we do have between the counties and the resources that are provided. Any other questions? Maddie, I guess I'll turn it back over to you and Neela.
Cool. Thank you. Okay, everyone. Thank you so much for coming, and thank you so much to Andy, Mike, and Katie for volunteering your time this Friday morning to share all of the awesome resources in your regions. This is going to be recorded, so I'm excited to begin sharing this with other people who want to learn more about SBDCs. And yeah, that's a wrap on the Friday Forum 2023 season, and I can't think of a better way to bring it to a close. So thank you so much for coming, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your Friday and have a good weekend.
Thank you all.
Thank you.